Well, all eyes are on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's historic visit to Russia, where he will be holding talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin on a range of critical, strategic and bilateral issues. The preparations are underway in Moscow, where the Indian community is excited for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit. Before taking off for Russia, Prime Minister in his departure statement referred to the Russian president as his friend and said that he looks forward to reviewing all aspects of bilateral cooperation with Vladimir Putin. He also highlighted that both the leaders will be sharing perspectives on various global and regional issues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also reiterated India's stated diplomatic position vis-a-vis Russia, where he said that India seeks to play a supportive role of a peaceful and stable region, and that the visit will provide him with an opportunity to meet the vibrant Indian community in Russia.
It was a way of taking stock of, any relationship. What you do is you look at the state of the world. There are things you want to do more. There are things you want to do differently. One of the big changes has actually been that our economic relationship with Russia has grown tremendously. How do we, there are a lot of pluses. There are issues which come out of it, like the trade imbalance which has come out of it. So I would say, at a leadership level, it will be a great opportunity for Prime Minister Modi and President Putin to sit down and directly talk to each other. And then obviously, as per their directions, we will see how to take the relationship.
Well, the visit is very significant. It is taking place after a gap of 3 years. We have the tradition of annual exchange of summits, level meetings between the President of Russian Federation and the Prime Minister of India. And the last one was in 2021. So since then, a lot has changed around the world, but also our relations have expanded. Russia is now one of very important sources of crude energy resources in India. Also, trade have expanded in other areas.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who departed for Moscow at 10:55 a.m., is scheduled to arrive at the international airport there at 5:20 p.m. Russian President Vladimir Putin will host a private dinner for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will meet the Indian diaspora tomorrow. Tomorrow, the Prime Minister will also lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldiers in Kremlin, after which he will visit the exhibition venue in Moscow. This trip assumes significance because it's Prime Minister Modi's first trip to Russia ever since Russia launched its military offensive and invaded Ukraine in February 2022. His last visit to Russia was in 2019 when he attended an economic conclave in the Far East city. Vladimir Putin had last met Prime Minister Modi in September 2022 at a summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Uzbekistan. In 2021, Russian President Putin had also traveled to New Delhi and held talks with Prime Minister Modi. A cultural extravaganza has also been planned in honor of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Watch how Russian nationals who learned Kathak and Kuchipudi are gearing up to enthrall the Prime Minister with their cultural performances.
Hello, my name is Sofia and I'm from Russia, from Smolensk, it's near Moscow. And we would perform at 8th or 9th of July. And we would prefer a Kathak dance. And we are with my group, not mine, but we would perform our Kathak dance we are studying in GNCC Cultural Center, and our teacher, our Guruji, make this dance.
I'm really interested about culture, so that's why more than 7 years ago I came to Kuchipudi. It's a traditional dance from south of India, and it's really interesting, and every time we go deeper and deeper into the culture. So today we are going to perform in front of Prime Minister, and it's a big honor for us. And we are going to perform our dance, which called Paripahi. We are going to perform, and we are really, exciting about it, and we're waiting for applause and support from our day. I'm learning Kathak dance for maybe 7 years, and I'm happy that finally I can present this beautiful, my favorite art form in front of Narendra Modi, and I'm happy that this event is happening, that Narendra Modi is visiting Moscow, and it means that the relationship between two my beloved countries are really strong.
I like Indian culture from child age. I like Bollywood, and I always wanted to study Indian dances, and I found the classes in GNCC, and I came to dance there.
So cultural performances will be witnessed when the Prime Minister reaches there, and there will be an interaction between him and the Indian diaspora as well. Rishabh is joining us in the broadcast. Rishabh, very interesting visuals coming in of dolls being played, cultural performances, at the moment being practiced that will be performed when the Prime Minister is present there. And this, in fact, is, has now become a part of the Prime Minister's visit abroad. Apart from the bilateral, apart from, important issues that are going to be discussed between both the leaders, there's an interaction with the diaspora as well.
Well, definitely, Indian diaspora worldwide is something that has been India's soft power, and that India has been flexing muscles with, be it in US, be it in Australia, and now in Russia as well. In Russia, we do not have that big an Indian diaspora, but definitely a significant Indian diaspora who has been the backbone of India-Russia relationship. Remember, India and Russia have 77-year-old diplomatic relationship. Even in the days of USSR, India and USSR were very close. After the disintegration of USSR in 90s, in 1993, India and Russia signed the Treaty of Friendship that was elevated to a strategic partnership in 2000, and further to a privileged space strategic partnership in 2010. Since 2000, there have been summit-level talks between India and Russia every year, once in New Delhi, once in Moscow. The last one when Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, visited New Delhi back in 2021. The last meeting between these two leaders was in September 2022, when on the sidelines of SCO in Uzbekistan, in Samarkand, both the leaders met. That's where Prime Minister said the famous line now that this is not an era of war. Both the countries are very, very close, be it defense, be it technology, be it diplomacy. Both the countries have been each other's back for decades now. If we talk about the bilateral trade itself between India and Russia, the bilateral trade amounts to 65 billion US dollars. That is a big amount when it comes to the bilateral trade for India. 60% of Indian weaponry has come in from Russia, and now when India is venturing in the Atmanirbhar defense industry in the country, Russia stands with India there also. When Prime Minister will be visiting there, apart from energy and fuel that India and Russia have been talking about, and remember, even after an embargo and sanctions from the West, the fuel import from Russia has surged in 2023 between India and Russia. And apart from that, the leaders would be discussing about defense ties as well. Remember, S-400 is something that has been in negotiations, and that is something that India would like to streamline and ensure that it comes to India at the earliest. Apart from that, AK-203, the rifles, around 35,000 such rifles have already been manufactured and have been delivered to India. More is expected from Russia. A nuclear powered submarine is something that both the countries are discussing. If we talk about Su-30 MKIs, that is something India is talking about, the technology transfer from Russia. So these are the main
All right, Rishabh, in fact, stay on with us. Now, Russia has remained a strategic ally for India for years, especially when it comes to the field of defense.